Uh, Good morning, colleagues. I'm presenting this on behalf of Sophia Njeru from Kirinyaga University in Kenya. We have been collaborating with Sophia for quite some time. And when this opportunity came by, one of the things which popped from her mind was we need to find out the knowledge, attitude, and the practice of upcycling of designers in Kenya, and this formed part of our topic. My computer stuck, doesn't want to change the slides now. Oh, okay, there it is. This is the structure of my presentation. I'll just quickly pass it. I think you are well aware that we are following a linear type of consumption and production, which has just caused a lot of harm to the environment, where we extract raw materials, we design, produce, we use, after using, we throw away, and the environment can't take the kind of rubbish which we are throwing into it anymore. And they're saying anything which is extracted from the earth within 3 months is already waste. And we see upcycling as disrupting this unsustainable consumption and production pattern, because it brings in elements of upgrading and recycling. And here where upgrading adds value to already the materials which are in circulation, and it enables those materials in circulation to circulate for quite a longer time than just throwing it away straight away to the rubbish bin or the dumping site. And recycling also promotes the reusing of those materials instead of throwing them away. So what this upcycling is trying to prevent or reduce the amount of waste which goes to the landfills. There are so many, upcycling is telling a sustainable stories. For example, some are pushing this agenda of production with zero waste, and this is where upcycling comes in, or we should start local and think global. I think you have seen some of the examples from Zanzibar, from Nigeria, from Ghana, where they've started with using the local materials which they can source. And we need to make sure that whatever we make, it should be something which can appeal at a global level. Other people can also appreciate the products which are coming from upcycled products which are coming from our countries. And as I've indicated, that reusing of materials and components reduces the volume of waste which is going to the landfills. This upcycling, it saves a lot of production of new raw materials, which maybe instead of cutting more trees, we can use the paper which is already in circulation, and it promotes sustainable production as well as sustainable consumption. It reduces the carbon print, because as we are talking of the circular economy, we need to see that we cut on the carbon footprint that we have. It is behaving funny. It changes slides when it likes. It's just stuck again. There it is. So we need a new radical cultural mindset change. I think you have heard from the different presentation that people still view that because these products were made from materials which were thrown away or which were considered as waste. So we need to change that mindset change of maybe throwing things away, that we can still add value to the kind of the perceived waste that we have. And in most cases, the small micro enterprises, they are the engines of the world economy because they employ skilled people, semi-skilled, unskilled, and if we can target those as part of maybe promoting upcycling, then we are going to have a win-win situation because the SMEs are much closer to where people are or at the market. And if they can buy into this idea of upcycling, then we'll be in a position to have this sustainable economic development, and will encourage innovation and competitiveness, which is much, much more sustainable than the kind of competition which we are experiencing now. Now, you might be well aware that fashion design is one of the it's one of the industry which has a lot of is a wasteful industry, and this is where we need to change and think more of the environment. What damage are we doing to our environment? The kind of solid waste which we're producing and then dumping into our environment, and issues of environmental change or climate change. That here we have floods, we have prolonged droughts, and for example, in our country, I think about a year ago we had droughts in a desert. Since I grew up, I'm now 52. It was the first time where we have floods in the desert, and you can see that issues of climate change are here with us, and we need to do something about them. And this is one way of doing it. So our study was based in Kenya with the SMEs in the fashion industry, and we wanted to assess whether the fashion designers in Kenya, do they have knowledge on upcycling? What are their attitudes? Is it negative or positive? And then whether they do practice upcycling. Now, the study is actually addressing about 4 UN SDGs, where the SDG number 9 of building a resilient and resilient infrastructure that will promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization to foster innovation, ensure sustainable production and consumption patterns, take urgent action to combat climate change. And you can see this is part of taking that kind of action. And then protect and restore and promote sustainable use of the ecosystem. As we are doing this, we are actually protecting our ecosystem and even protecting the biodiversity loss. So we see upcycling offering a promising solution to sustainable management and environmental sustainability and attaining the SDGs. The fashion industry is, it's highly energy, it consumes a lot of energy, and then it's causing a lot of pollution and waste. And upcycling we see as one strategy, is not the only strategy which can combat this this unsustainable types of production and consumption. We have now, as we have different movements where there's which are trying to drive this sustainable agenda. We have eco fashion, we have the green fashion, the slow fashion, so that we just buy when we need. We don't need to be buying so much excessively when we don't need. Somebody was saying, if you have some kind of dress or a pair of trousers or a shirt which you can't put in within a month, or so, which means you don't need that. So you shouldn't have bought it. So there are those different movements which are coming up to try to address these issues of sustainability. And one of those is sustainable product service systems, which we actually had a collaborative study with Sophia it was a comparative study between Botswana, whether designers actually practice product service systems. And we see especially in terms of fashion, the use-oriented model, providing a solution to this kind of throwaway society which we have developed, where we can have a product lease. You can go to a shop and lease whatever it is, a dress or lease clothes. The ownership remains with the shop owner. You just pay for use. That's what you are paying for. Use that dress and then you return it. They can clean it and then put it back, and then somebody can come in. We are already doing that, maybe in terms of wedding gowns and the like. But why can't we extend it a bit so that we reduce ownership of a lot of products or garments which we don't need? This issue of another strategy is product renting or sharing, and then or product pooling. So these are possibilities which we need to look at. I know as I'm presenting, some might say, no, we can't do this. And as I said, we need this radical mind shift change, that in order to save our environment, we cannot continue the way we have been doing things. We need to come up with new strategies, and then we need to be receptive of the new strategies which we are coming up with. Now, our study adopted a case study, and then it was based in Kenya. And then at first we conducted about 20 fashion houses, but only 8 gave us permission, or they were interested to participate in the study. And then 6 of those fashion houses, they had about 2 to 7 years in operation, and they employed about 1 to 10. There was only one from that group which employed about 100 people. And then 2 firms were mature. They had about 10 to 20 years, and then they're employing about 10 people. And then in terms of participants, it was gender bias. We have 4 males, 4 females. And we targeted the owners or managers, because we thought those are the people who have much more information. If we are talking about upcycling, they might be much more aware of what the company is doing. And then, the participants, they had the relevant qualifications, except we had 2 who had in qualification in comments and philosophy, and then 2 didn't. They didn't want their qualification revealed. Maybe they started fashion design through hands-on approach or on-the-job training. When we looked at the vision of the different companies, really they showed that there are a way of sustainable fashions, and you could see one example of the vision, that to create pieces that respect our beautiful earth and its inhabitant, to break the stereotype that the mission that sustainable fashion is expensive, and make these fashion pieces accessible and affordable to all. And you could see, if you look at all the mission and vision of this, all the companies which participated, they were conscious about, as you are designing your accessories, you need to be very conscious of what are they going to contribute to the environment. They were very knowledgeable about upcycling, and they alluded to the benefits of upcycling to the environment, to the social economic characteristics, as you can see some of the extracts from the participants there. Regarding upcycling, participants captured its distinct features from pre-production and post-production. And I am interested in the last group there, that one participant said, upcycling is not something which is new. It is actually it's part of the African culture. Part of my generation, when you grew up, you will have only one trouser, and then you will put on that trouser until the sitting facilities start showing, and then your grandmother or mother would just put a patch on top there, and that was part of upcycling. There was no that now this trousers developed some holes at the bottom, so you throw it away. Your mother would just put a patch there, and I don't know whether it was part of development where we had to abandon that kind of, or if maybe the trouser developed some in the knees. If you are lucky enough to your parent to buy you a long trouser and it's torn on the knees, then they will just put a patch there and then life goes on. And then maybe through what we perceived as development, I think that's where we lost it. That is why this participant was saying this is part of African culture. We used to do it and then we stopped. And then I think we need to go back to the roots because the kind of development which we are following is leading us nowhere. Now, I'm just going to show some of the different examples which these fashion houses are doing. You can see these tops which are made from second-hand bed sheets, which were just about to be disposed of, and then they were upcycled. And you can see these are very nice tops which have been produced. No, 5 of the upcycled of the companies, they upcycle their solid waste, and there is one who threw away to communal bins, and 2 donated to other designers who were upcycling, and there was only one who his waste were picked by the municipality or by the city council, which collects rubbish bin. And you could see that no participant banned solid waste. I think it shows the environmental consciousness. Now you can see more examples. These were made from second-hand curtains and bed sheets, where they've produced those suits and dresses and the bag. The bag was made by the co-author, Sophia Njeru. I think it's a computer bag, which it looks very nice, and you wouldn't even think that is something which is upcycled. And even the suits, they look nice. Shoes, because they were making a lot of things made from kitenge, where they've now, they've been given a new lease of life, and which is something which is much more lively. Then more examples, and the pouch there, different shoes, and then another bag made from Masai shuku. I think this is a special cloth found in Kenya. I think Kenya and Tanzania, where we have the Maasai people. Then you can see those shoes have been given another new lease, have been upgraded actually, a new lease of life instead of throwing them away. And then some playmates, table mats there, and then a bed duvet made from offcuts, which would normally be thrown away, but you could see that they've been used to make something which is much more valuable. Now, I think that in terms of summing up, the owners and managers had in-depth knowledge and they had positive attitude about upcycling, and you have seen some of the different products which they've produced from pre or post solid waste. And then one thing which the participant emphasized is that you need creativity. It's a skill which you need so that you can see how you can refashion or reuse these materials in a more creative way, where it can attract the attention of the potential customers. And I think this creates a niche market for upcycling, and we can actually drive this sustainable agenda and move towards the circular economy. In conclusion, I think you have seen that fashion firms in Kenya, they are utilizing upcycling to compete in the fashion industry, and then participants were contributing creatively and uniquely to humanity, social, cultural, economic, and environmental well-being, to attain the sustainable development goals, and even to transit to the circular economy. And in terms of recommendation, I think we need more capacity building, run workshops on upcycling so that we get more fashion designers on board, so that we have this massive movement of upcycling. At the moment, it's a few who are doing it there, but we need masses, a massive movement, so that we can make an impact. And we also need, in terms of fashion design programs, we need to add components of sustainability and upcycling modules or courses in the fashion design program, so that as students graduate, they can take that forward. It's not something which they are going to meet when they start practicing in the industry. They can start practicing that at during their study period. And in terms of collaboration, we have the University of Botswana, we have collaborated with Sophia, and we are looking forward to, for those who are in fashion design, to see how we can collaborate with in terms of research and in terms of capacity building and training. How can we bring more people on board? Because for us to make an impact, we need to get more people on board. And we are not just only looking at fashion design, we are also looking at how can we integrate fashion design with maybe furniture design, with other different profession as well, so that at the end we create this massive movement. So we are open for collaboration in areas of research, in areas of training or capacity building, in different areas where upcycling is concerned. Thank you, colleagues. This is the end of my presentation.